Movie Dopers, Booksmart. If you listen to the Kingsman reviews, I teased that there would be a new nickname for Movie Dopers, and now is the time to reveal it and explain it. The explanation is I've been watching a lot of Ludwig lately, and every video he goes, boys, and the Something and Eddie podcast, if you know anything about that drama and why I'm muting the first person's name, they used to be like, one of the boys, girls are boys and boys are boys, or something like that. I'm not rewatching it to figure it out. And I thought, you know what? I'm such a contrarian, a pointless contrarian. Wonder why, back when learning Spanish, the multiples, it could be one guy and 72 women, and it would be the male pronoun. So I've decided at the Booksmart review to just be a little interesting and go, gals. Because if we're expecting all these ladies to be boys, we can do the same in reverse. Gals, one of the gals. And to reference the first Flash and Supergirl crossover on CW, when it's him and the Flash and Supergirl fighting two female villains, and they're walking up, he says, let's settle this like women. He's like, what? You outnumber me.
Doesn't Deadpool do something like that too?
I don't know. The
It's
only
like
thing I've ever
something similar, like let's settle this as women or something, or it's just us women.
I don't remember. I remember the first the first trailers and the movie. People were like, in his opening thing, it's like, your girlfriend's like, what? This isn't the movie you promised. All right. If the flow went off, that's because my computer just decided to restart completely for no reason. And it's just like, these are the programs stopping us from restarting. I was like, okay, don't restart, and then it restarted. So fuck me. But there was something of like, why does Deadpool have to open with you assuming that girls don't like R-rated superhero movies? Which that's fair. It's a little leaning towards one demographic, but if you look at the analytics, I'm sure they skewed male at that point. Who knows if it's an actual thing or if it's just the fact that there are 7,000 white men for every one non-white man and non-man.
I don't know where you went with that, but that's okay.
Oh,
I got lost somewhere in there.
Okay, when we were talking about the future new Avengers, and you were like, a lot of female representation, and we joked about how all the other movies were mainly just white dudes as the main character.
Gotcha.
Is it that it's not a place that's very inviting to female audience members by not having a lot of representation and minority representation?
Yeah. Okay, I see that. I see where we're going. Okay,
it's that.
I was confused.
It's that. I don't even need to give the other option. Anyway, Booksmart, gals. Spoiler-free review. I'll start because I got a really quick one. I love movies like this. I find myself, even though I love weird shit like Tag and Stretch and Kingsman that do weird shit, and for me do it well. I outside of that, I much prefer a a story you would recognize, but done like 10 to 20% better than average, like done very well, than something weird that utterly fails, like Cats or Army of the Dead.
What?
That was fine. It was fun for one watch, but after Army of the Dead, I'm just like, okay, I've seen it. And there was some fun. And I will be checking out Army of Thieves. But, I'd rather have something that's just a solid, well-known format that just goes above and beyond. Like here, we don't have last week I rewatched Kick-Ass 2, which had all the tropes for their high school parts of like, oh, these are the three bitchy girls, and they're nice to you until they think you're better than them, and then they're just bitchy. And this one,
Mean Girls, got it.
Mean Girls, except like Mean Girls is like the best version of that story, where this one is that story, but without any of those one-dimensional cliches, let's say. You
Okay.
know, like the worst person in this story is like kind of rough around the edges, and we'll get to that. She's a pretty girl, but she's not like the Michael Bay over sexualized Megan Fox pretty girl. She's just the cute, like just she's just the most attractive girl in school. And there's no big thing about it. There's no slow motion of like, oh, the queen bee. Everybody watch out. She's just, yeah. She's the prettiest one in school. Cool. No one even recognizes it really as that. And that's my review. This is a story that will seem familiar, especially, but it's the top tier. Like Easy A, I would say, is a top tier one. Mean Girls is another. Super Bad, I think, is the male version of this. And this Super Bad has some of the foundation of this film. Or how do you say that? The foundation of this film is built upon Super Bad's skeleton in a sense.
Is it?
I think so. Except that no one's like, I'm gonna lose virginity. That's not their goal. And there's no McLovin. There's a McLovin-esque.
I was gonna say, is there?
Esque.
Okay.
But McLovin, really, there's nothing more to McLovin than what's on the page.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much where I was at. This is very, very similar to Superbad. Like even some framing of the shots are like, ooh, that looks almost identical to to Superbad. I would say it's good. It's good. It's a good movie. It's a good coming of age tale kind of thing. I would say kind of if you like Superbad, I think you'll pretty much like this. I think if you thought Superbad was a little too over the top and a little bit too grotesque in some parts, you'll probably like this. I think this will be more your speed. It's still for anybody that is kind of in between or likes one or the other or prefers one or the other. I think it's still good, but
yes,
I think it takes Superbad and mellows out some things, makes the female leads, but I think it's really close to the same.
Yes, if this and Superbad started with the same normal formula, Superbad went more 20% more extreme or nonsensical. How do you say it? Just weird. You know how Anchorman can get very, very weird? Like that Anchorman would be like 100% weirder. Just a random street fight where people stab each other and kill each other. Superbad's like 10-20%. Police officers letting you just do donuts in their police car. Nah. And this one goes 10 to 20% of like more developed and like breaking preconceptions about that life. And you know what? We haven't mentioned this in a while. Charlie Bartlett. I would also put Charlie Bartlett in that camp.
Okay. I was gonna say we haven't. Okay, Blind Spotting, Kingsman. We're good. We got both of them. We knocked all of them in there. Boom.
What? Wait, we've reviewed Kingsman, but not Blind Spotting. What's up?
No, we've got all of your normal tangents in there. Every episode you mentioned Blind Spotting and Kingsman, so I just want to make sure we got in there before we got too far. So before we forgot.
Hey, I'm working Kingsman out of my system now. But also to tease, whenever Brad's good, ready for it, I have this concept of doing a small episode where we do a Marbles on Stream with 10 of my favorite underrated movies, Charlie Bartlett included, 10 of Brad's most underrated movies. And we'll find a Marbles on Stream where you don't lose any marbles. And like in whatever 2 or 3 minutes it takes for you to do that, my challenge to make it interesting is that we're going to each try to do a very quick non-spoiler review of our 10 favorite movies going back and forth. Like we've got 3 minutes to review 20 movies. Go. And that'll
Oh
make
wow.
it interesting. It'll be a race to the finish. If we don't do a non-spoiler review of one, we just lose out before the race is done. But that'll choose the next order of movies that we'll be watching. And we'll do a future Marbles on stream, but off stream with any suggestions that you find listeners put in on Spotify or Instagram. Anyway, any more for the non-spoiler review?
No, I'm ready to jump in.
This is directed by Olivia Wilde. Fun facts before we get into spoilers. We have two Hollywood royalty legacies in this film.
You do. You definitely do.
Yes, you knew. I was kind of hoping to surprise you, but we've got Billie Lourd, who's Carrie Fisher's daughter, and one of the main leads, I forget what character, the more driven one of the two, is Jonah Hill's cousin.
And she looks like him.
Once I rewatched this, because I didn't know it the first time I watched it, but having just seen Don't Look Up, rewatched it with that lens, I'm like, oh yeah, she's got some of those mannerisms. I can see it. They're definitely close family members.
Yeah, and she, if you put her next to him, I mean, they look. It's actually her older brother.
Oh shit. Okay.
Yeah. And her eldest brother is the Maroon 5 manager.
Okay,
So,
we don't need to mention the third Hemsworth. I mean, they're successful, but we'll yeah.
so that's man, that makes this even more. This makes it even better.
In
Just
what way?
because the female super bad.
Yep. And then we also have, at the time, I believe they were still together, but Olivia Wilde's previous significant other, Ted Lasso, Jason Sudeikis, with a similarish accent, but not similarish mannerisms.
He did a really good job in this movie.
Hmm.
I think he did really well. And we'll get into that.
And speaking of Easy A, right before we saw the parents in this film, I was like, oh yeah, Stanley Tucci's one of the parents, right? I was like, oh no, Will Forte. Okay, in what movie was Stanley Tucci a weird parent? And it just was like Easy A. I was like, oh cool, yep, that totally feels right.
And I was trying to figure it out, and I couldn't figure it out because I know he's also in some commercials. But the guy that's going to go code for Google, he's in something else too, and I could not figure out what other movie he was in. Eduardo Franco.
That's his real name or the character name?
The package, labeled, the binge, super intelligence, we broke up, in Queen Pins. But I know he's been in something else too.
Wait a minute. I remember American Vandal. Was he in American Vandal and Stranger Things?
Yeah, he was in Stranger. Or he's going to be in Stranger Things.
Did you remember him from American Vandal?
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Conan. Oh, okay. Jacob, I was like Conan. I was remembering Conan the Barbarian movie. So I was like, no, really? How would he have fit in? I would more expect him to be in Year One.
But yeah, so I know he's been in some commercials.
Yeah.
But I mean, I feel like I've seen him in other movies, but when I was looking it up, I could not figure it out.
He's just got an iconic look from the get.
Yeah, he does. He definitely does.
All right, sir. What is your rating? I'm going to give it a one simple mushroom for me.
I was going to go edible. So we were right there.
Good enough for me. The 2 minutes. Don't fact check.
Don't fact check.
Are done now. Spoilers for Booksmart. The to me spiritual sequel to 8th Grade, which I wish I had said before I said spoilers. But spoilers. What do you want to get into first, sir?
Probably just how this is, to me, is like it takes super bad, kind of meshes out some things, pushes some things in, but ideally it's pretty much the same movie. I wish it would have done better in box office and stuff like that. I think it should have done better. And I think it'll get better once, more people see it on whatever streaming platform owns this movie.
Once they
But
hear from us.
yes, once we tell you to go watch this thing. Um, but I mean, some of the scenes are like almost frame for frame super bad. You've got the beginning movie, you've got the beginning scene where he pulls up into a car and picks up Jonah Hill. In this movie, it's backwards, but they do the exact same thing. First opening scene, rolls up in a car and she picks up what's her name to go to school.
Do they do the dance in Superbad? It's been a while since I've seen
I
Superbad.
don't believe they do,
I
but I mean, it's
you
some
know
there's so many cases where it's like almost frame for frame, and like even the one weird kid who drives him to a boat party. I mean, he's kind of like the McLovin of this movie.
yeah.
Similar, but not exactly the same, but similar, kind of quirky, out there, weird. Um, Kind of finds himself through the end of the movie. But
Yeah. Yeah, I like him. This one, it was because I rewatched Man from Uncle recently.
why?
Because you kept mentioning it, I'm like, I'll give it another chance. I put my finger on what I don't like about it, which is that it felt like there's never any tension between any characters ever.
And they try to between Uncle, the British, or was it British agent, and then the Russian agent. They try to, but it's more like a jock, like locker room kind of tension.
Yeah, as
Like
soon as they're not,
who's got the bigger thing.
yeah, there's literally never, even when they're fighting, I never felt like there's personal tension. Like
No.
they're just the most relaxed. I think Henry Cavill is actually an American agent because they made a joke back then about how the American actor put on a non-American accent, and then the British actor put on an American accent. Um, and then the part I liked about the movie, I didn't like the very forced and out of nowhere sexual tension they threw on the on Ex Machina, Tomb
Mhm.
Raider lady and Russian guy. Because I was like, no, absolutely not. But right before then, I really liked how they were letting the female character be weird, like weird for a spy movie. Just started like dancing in the back, and he's like, I will bend you over. So you want to wrestle? And she like attacks him. I was like, well, we never seen this in spy movies. Women are never given weird, you know, weird character traits or whatever like that. Normally, if they are, it's like the woman in the Hitman movie just randomly getting naked and be like, I want to sleep with the socially awkward hitman. It's like, okay, still playing into the Bond lady trope, I see. Um, so I liked literally that little nugget, and then when they started dancing, I was like, "Oh yeah, this is great. This is exactly what I want." Just unabashedly weird, and doing the cutting out of the music, you
Mhm.
know.
They do a lot. They do a lot with the music in this movie.
Yeah,
It's something that I noticed throughout the movie. They play with the music a lot, and they try to make it like super loud, and then just cut like to nothing. There was a couple times where it did that. There's a couple times where it built up. So they definitely use the music to their advantage throughout this movie.
yeah. Yeah, and like I said, my favorite things about this are just like the not taking the lazy, or not even the lazy, but the basic choice, like your first choice, and always doing the second or third choice you would think of by spending some time on it. Like AAA and the two stoner boys she's talking to in the co-ed bathroom.
Yeah, which is I
The,
thought was weird, but
I mean, hey, that should have, they don't, people just, you know, bitch about other people behind their back if they rub them the wrong way, which you can totally see for like of course she would rub some people the wrong way because
oh, absolutely, yeah.
she
Class
starts her
president.
day. Yeah, look down on those who question you. You're a boss bitch. Um, that's just not, that's a very powerful mindset. And, probably a lot of successful people like Jeff Bezos have that mindset. And it helps them get to the levels they want to, but it's not a very emotionally healthy mindset.
And you know who
So,
that voice was?
Michelle Obama.
No,
I think they were trying to make it that, but who's the voice or sound like
Maya
that?
Maya Rudolph.
Ooh, why does that sound familiar?
She's in Idiocracy,
Oh, okay.
Saturday Night Live.
Yeah, she is great, except for Lego Movie 2. They do a little bit too much of the SNL, leaning into the SNL side. But
Grown Ups, Bridesmaid.
yeah, Bridesmaids does the perfect balancing act. Lego Movie 2 goes a little too much like, ooh, the Lego hurt my foot. Oh, it's still hurting. I was like, okay, that joke just went too a little too long. She's great. Um, yeah, she's fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
and then Saturday Night Live stuff too. She's on there quite a bit.
yeah. Uh, but like doing the just defying expectations multiple times. First, letting AAA go to Yale, and then the dropout. The truth is, school for the most part has, and it's been proven in studies, is not good. It doesn't show you how to succeed in business, doesn't give you an entrepreneurial spirit, teaches you to be a
Yeah,
factory worker. It wants you to be a McDonald's worker or to work for Amazon because it was made around wartime when they needed workers. That was the thing, and it just has not evolved with the times. So having a double demo, someone who failed most class, like shit, my last year of high school, I failed ROTC because I didn't need the credit. And they were making us memorize fucking fighter planes and shit. And I
yep.
never
And
had an
they're
interest.
pilots and naval ships, and yeah,
And whether it would be a good thing or bad thing to do so, I know that I am not built to be in the military. I don't have that mentality. I don't have the mental strength to to undertake that pressure. I wouldn't be good in that, no, whether I wanted to or not. That's just my self-awareness. So when I'm doing this, I'm like, I no, I'm gonna do Battleship. That's the closest. Playing Battleship is the closest this will ever come to me using this information. And I failed. And my chief fry, like I went to boot camp after my first year there, like a fun boot camp. It was actually pretty fun. She was like, I'm so disappointed. I'm just like, this was me at 17. Very rare that I had a mature thought, a well-developed thought, but I was like, you are just you got your blinders on. You're not seeing that this ain't for me. And this is not a big deal that I failed this. So the guy going to Google and getting mid six figures a year, $500,000, I'm assuming, a year. He doesn't need history. Well, it would be nice if he had history class for Google. Uh,
well, it's not Apple, so
yeah, it's not Apple, but like he doesn't need uh gym class, to pass gym class or whatever. There's a lot of things that
might be
don't
helpful for him.
for the health wise, yeah.
Yeah,
But there's not a lot of classes in school that would directly benefit a career in like coding or something like that. So,
not unless you had a specialty class in a school. But I mean, the
which is
school that I
this is
went to
not.
was yeah, the school that I went to was tiny. So I mean, the most out of the most crazy thing we had was probably like auto mechanics or like small engine repair. That was kind of like the farthest away from normal, I would say. Your
Yeah,
core classes.
I had like an acting class, and that was nice, and a music class. I hear they were cutting budgets after I left, but like that was just creativity. Anyway, all like shattering the preconcept. They could have just been the smart ass stoner, quote unquote, slutty group, a drug user group, but
And
they were
it
more
would have
than
been,
that.
yeah, and it would have the movie would have worked just fine.
Yeah, it
The
would
only thing
have
that would do,
functioned.
yeah, there wouldn't the movie wouldn't have changed much without that.
Yeah,
So
it's extra flavors for the recipe, extra ingredients. And even later when AAA was like, I knew those like dumbass guys would say some shit, and I wanted to feel pleasure too, but it hurt that the women said stuff too, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember when I was in high school, like all the guys, I think as not that guys are better, but guys will bully each other. And it was people like me who took it personally that end up being the losers. But if I had been able to just take that as like fun ribbing and throw it back, I would have been one of the boys. Like guys fuck with each other as like jokes. Well, at least back in my day, a lot of like your dick's small, and but women would like talk behind each other's backs and like call each other bitches and
and be
sluts and
really
shit.
vindictive. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was like, and thankfully, I've seen that mentality growing or evolving away from that. Uh, but like, just think putting that in us in that mindset of just like how AAA could hurt from having that nickname. Yeah, like I said,
But,
a normal
but
story, but just went a little further.
yeah, I think Molly does a really good job kind of throwing it back at him and then kind of gets it shoved right back in down her throat.
Wait, say that again, but slower, because I was typing in Booksmart so I can have all the character names, and I just heard throwing it back and shoving it down her throat. I was like, what the fuck are you talking? Sorry, what were you saying?
When they were making fun of Molly in the bathroom, she does
Oh
a really
yeah,
good job of kind of like taking it in stride, throwing it back at them, but then they're like, "Oh no, we've got the upper hand in this one."
yeah. She she thought she had the high ground.
Yeah, she thought she did, and she definitely didn't. But
No.
how realistic in this is it that everybody in this movie is going to like some high end university or high end job? I mean, I know this is like California or wherever, Los Angeles, because
Yeah.
they show a map. But I mean, how realistic is this? Like,
I
it's
would
it was my fifth choice. Don't judge me. It was Harvard.
Yeah, I would say for that one, that feels real because both of them are rich as fuck. They come from rich families, at least. Billy Lord's character and well, Jared and I'm not seeing Billy Lord's character and Gigi. They're spoiled rich people. So that was not a shock. And being in Hollywood with the prices of just living there, I wouldn't say it's the most shocking thing, especially since one of those three in the bathroom is like playing sports somewhere. So they definitely have a scholarship.
Yeah, he was playing soccer at Sanford.
Yeah. So I wouldn't say like if every single person in the whole school was like, we're all going to every fancy school, then I'd be like, okay, some people are just, no, they're just fucking off. Um,
Yeah, it was just weird because it was like everybody that they talked to, because I forgot where Molly was going, and then her other friend was going to
Molly's
another.
going to Yale and AAA is going to Yale.
Yeah, and then her friend Amy was going somewhere after her gap year.
Uh,
She was
yeah,
going
it
somewhere.
was Cambridge.
Cambridge. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
Gigi.
mean,
I just see Gigi as her parents paid to get her into a college, and
yeah,
Gigi's like so weird and out there. She's like, no, Harvard's so basic. Everyone wants to go to Harvard. I want to go to like fucking in Thailand, and go to college there, man. And her parents are like, "We're paying for you to get somewhere. We're paying to get you into
yeah, yeah.
Harvard." So
Which is recently backfired for some people.
yeah, yeah. So I'm not shocked. I definitely am not shocked about Gigi, and I just like that
Well,
AAA surprised Molly, which ironically the actress who plays AAA is named Molly in real life.
what was the one kid with the car that took him to the houseboat and everything?
Jared.
Jared. Okay.
He
Yeah,
was
because him
he
him I could see because I mean I can see that. I mean I figured he would have drove in a nicer car, but then he pulls up to a yacht and everything.
Yeah, and she says you can't buy friends with money. He's like, yeah, you can. I've seen
Yeah,
my
you can.
parents do it and my grandparents do it. And it's like, this kid definitely comes from a spoiled family. So I would say I don't know what college, what high school they're in, obviously, and it seems, not some like paved with gold walkways and things like that. But if it's got two mega rich, spoiled kids, like theoretically, I wouldn't be surprised if some of the kids are, they can just afford it
Yeah.
to be in this school. So if there weren't two mega rich people and it was like my high school in Chicago, I'd be like, fuck, no one at Taft High School is going to Harvard. What the fuck are you talking about? They barely had a football field until 5 years ago.
Well, the one kid that did go to Harvard put it in for him.
Yeah, we don't have alumni emails at my high school, let's say. Um, yeah. So not a super stretch for me, but I see where you're coming from with that. What did you think? So Easy A had an active um teacher underage student affair.
Yes.
What did you think about Miss Fine with Google guy?
Who was actually like 20 or something like that.
Yeah.
Because
Theo with Theo.
yeah, because she makes mention of it. It was like, wait, didn't you fail like 2 grades?
Yeah, you're
And
20, right?
you're 20. So I mean, it's fine. It's not who I would have picked. Um yeah, it's probably not who I would have picked.
I
But
mean, as long as it's
it
after graduation, I guess. I mean, the last day of school already finished. It's a little dicey,
just a little bit.
but you know, I mean,
It,
if they do
it,
get together, he's making $500,000 a year.
yeah,
She doesn't have to worry about her teacher's salary if
just the
resignment is required.
yeah, just the prison term she might have to serve.
Oh, I don't. Would that be like if he's actually, graduation hasn't actually happened, but
Yeah.
if he's 20 and it's already the last day of school before they even.
Yeah. Do I think it'll go, under the radar, skirted through? Yeah, probably. But yeah, I mean, it was fine, and they played it up well from the beginning. When he's kind of talking about her in class and stuff like that. So, I mean, he played it up pretty nice. But this whole movie basically takes place over 24 hours.
Yeah. So what hit for you? Well, first before that, if anyone has seen it was canceled after one series, but the actor Austin Crute, who was in a show called Daybreak on Netflix. It's very the best you'll see on CW vibes, you know. But it's a post-apocalyptic, just like wacky. If you liked Riverdale, but you want a better version of that, I'd say check out Daybreak. It's a very special thing, but he's in it and he does a great job. Um, but yeah, any moments that really hit you in the
The
emotions?
the funniest part of the whole movie was probably the taxi scene, the lift scene where Jason Sudeikis picks them up, who's also their principal. It's like, oh yeah, you guys can call me Jordan. And then so they're in the backseat watching porn, and oh, you
I
guys
can
want
I
to?
can
Oh,
put
you guys
your
want to
music
listen?
on.
Yeah, put your music on. And it's like, was that Cardi B?
Which I think this came out before WAP.
Or right along with it. Yeah, they probably filmed it before.
Which, like, when did WAP come out? Because that is literally a perfect reference. When did WAP release? 2020. This came out in 2019.
And
That
they probably filmed it in 2018.
Yeah, that's fucking perfect. That is That
That
is better than any article that's like how the Simpsons predicted this future tech innovation.
or
I
like
mean,
the all the things that there's literally YouTube videos of everything that Simpsons have projected
yeah.
way beforehand.
Which the
And some
reason
of
I
them,
think this is better is because The Simpsons has done so many fucking episodes. You have to accidentally predict some shit. This is
well,
like
but
throwing a
some of the
dart with a blindfold on 2 years before it happens.
yeah, I mean, but some of those darts are like oddly specific, like Trump going down the escalator kind of thing. Like this is like oddly specific things.
I'm just saying they
Um,
have more numbers. They have
yeah,
more darts to throw.
and they do a really good job throwing them. Yeah,
uh,
so I mean, you'd have to think that somebody on the Booksmart team was a hardcore fan or like had some inside knowledge because that was just too on the nose.
I don't know because I've heard. I remember this YouTuber was like shitting on Jake Paul songs, how crappy the songs were, and he's like, "I wrote this song in 2 days," and then he like Google's Taylor Swift with "Love Story" and all these other mega popular songs. Like, yeah, I just wrote it in an evening in like 3 hours, and she's like, "Oh, he must be saying that it was a lot of hard work." Not that it was so easy. That he put in a lot more work to make every day, bro. Gotcha, gotcha, gotcha.
I don't even know that song, which is probably better for my sanity.
Every day, bro. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's it
uh,
really inspires me to think that I could make a good hit song, not a good song, a hit song. um, so yeah, I don't think I would be shocked if WAP had been in like the Cardi B vault for like 2 or 3 years, you know, before releasing.
yeah, that man, that is so oddly specific, just like crazy oddly specific.
I will
Like
say though,
you could have named like any other female artist or something like that, or any kind of other artist that would have been like, well, they've done a song similar to that, or they kind of got you know, for Cardi B specifically with WAP is just crazy.
and to be clear, I've not listened to a lot of Cardi B. And also, she did this weird stunt where she was like publicly denouncing the efficacy of vaccines and saying that her some cousin in another country became infertile after getting a vaccine, which was false. It all turned out that she was just doing a very tried and true Trumpism of distracting from other controversies. Apparently, her husband or significant other is a convicted sex offender, and like the court case had been coming back up or something. He was like settling a, a rape charge or something. So, in order to avoid headlines like that, she just started tweeting a bunch of random bullshit about COVID to distract from that. And it worked. She got
Oh
invited
yeah,
to the fucking White House and then faked that they said she actually couldn't come and all this stupid shit. So I'm like, fuck you. Like, look, if you want to be in love with a convicted rapist, I don't know the details of it. If he's done the time, I'm not gonna ever give my stamp of approval, but that's your life. But don't put out some stupid bullshit that could get people killed to distract from the shame that you have volunteered into. You know? So I'm like,
yeah.
fuck you. And for a hot second, because I can't tell them apart a lot of times. Sorry. Uh um oh wait, why am I forgetting her name? She was in F9. Uh Nicki Minaj.
Oh,
For a
okay.
hot second, I mixed up that I was like, oh no, Cardi B was an F9. Now I'm gonna be like, fuck her every time. And I was like, wait, no, it's
Wait,
Nicki
wait, time
Minaj.
out.
Yeah.
Cardi B was an F9. She was
Wasn't
the female agent that like helps Dom get out of that mansion or whatever when they pick her up by federal custody, and they're in the back of that truck. That's Cardi B.
wasn't it Nicki Minaj?
No, sorry,
Oh
bud.
wait, shit. Wait. All right. I may have mixed them up again. Cardi B, COVID. Let me see. Cardi B tried to warn us about COVID. Now she's ready. Pays for expensive COVID. Okay, what? Then which it may have been Nicki Minaj. Nicki Minaj, COVID. So, oh shit, it was Nicki Minaj.
Oh, okay.
No, Cardi B's fine. It was Nicki Minaj. I mixed them
I
up.
mean,
That wasn't even a joke. I
I mean,
didn't
I'm
do.
not, we're not going to say fine. She's, um, everything you just ranted about was not her.
It was
She's got
Nicki
her own,
Minaj.
she's got her own issues.
Oh, what did Cardi B do?
She used to be a stripper, which is not a big deal. It's, but
She, she
probably not good role model material. I think she even tells people that she's not a role model. And I know her and her husband, boyfriend thing were going back and forth too. I think she filed a restraining order against him for beating her up or something too. And I think they're now pregnant with her second child.
okay. Well,
So,
for me, someone being a stripper, I mean, Channing Tatum was a stripper, and I have no
yeah,
issue
well,
with that.
he's probably not a good role model either.
You
He
shut
did
your dirty mouth.
he did 22 Jump Street. Let's not give him too much credit.
Have you even seen 22 Jump Street?
Yeah, and 23 and 24 and
No, you have
25.
not. No, you have not, because 23 would have been MIB 23, and it never happened, sadly. No, I'll
Just
never say
the
someone being
end
a
the end
stripper is
the end credits
I'll
when they
never
do
say
all.
that someone having been a stripper, male or female, is a bad role model, because you can do what you want with your body as long as everyone's consenting. However, she did publicly basically admit to doing what the women in Hustlers did. If you've seen that movie,
I have not.
it's a great movie. But after the 2008 recession, it's the female version of like Wolf of Wall Street. I've said before.
Okay.
They like literally drugged their most rich clientele and like overcharged their cards to like 25,000, 50,000, and pocketed the money. So
Nice.
not a saint for the thieving, but I'm never look, if my daughter becomes a stripper, I'm never going to directly support her. I'm never going to go and be like,
That'd
I'll
be
see
really
one of
weird.
your shows, honey. No, but I'm not gonna shame her.
No, no.
She
I mean,
could just
it's
be
a,
responsible with what you do. The only stripper I've ever known was a recovered drug addict, because when they would go into this rooms, they'd get loaded, and that's heroin. No heroin. But no, if you want to be a stripper, that's your thing. I'll never say that's a bad.
I'm not saying bad. I'm saying probably not your first choice.
Eh, But no, it was Nicki Minaj, not Cardi B. I love that I
Okay.
mixed it up though, just unintentionally, just proving my point that I mix them up sometimes.
After getting yelled at, probably by everybody listening, yelling at you for the last 5 minutes, and like, oh, good, you mixed it up. Because
Well,
there's somebody that knows all that.
sorry. So Cardi B has drugged rich people and stolen their money. No. She should make thoughtful amends. Ted Lasso reference. But Nicki Minaj is literally might be indirectly responsible for people's recklessness and COVID and their death, because she didn't want to say that her significant other is a convicted sex offender. So one of those is worse than the other. Anyway, Booksmart.
So we can I can tie this in. Ready?
Mhm.
Prison. So they run into a guy who was a sex offender in the movie, who they eventually trade Amy's spot for, to try and get Amy out of jail or whatever from the night, because she pulled a McLovin, took one for the team, got arrested, and traded her spot for the guy, that the Lyft driver who was, or the pizza delivery driver who was, the Sacramento. I forgot what it was. It was a Sacramento something,
All
but
right.
which was really funny.
And I'm going to tie it back by saying that Hustlers, which had Cardi B that we mentioned, also stars what's her name? Oh wow, this is bad timing. Lily Reinhart, who was in uh Riverdale, which ties back to Daybreak, which has one of the actors in this film. So we tied it back two ways.
Look at that. 3 degrees of separation.
um so me my my most powerful parts were, one, I loved that they had a girl who was out and there was absolutely no sexual tension between friends, just like breaking the stereotype that being non-heterosexual means that you're attracted to everybody. You know what I mean?
I would say that they're not oddly close. I would say that they're very close, and they share some odd secrets amongst each other.
Yeah, they're
Because
best friends.
yeah, that really, you know, I forgot what there was a couple things where they shared where it was like, wow, that's like way too much about that other person. But
Honestly, the how much I've known that like girlfriends of mine and their friends just talk in detail, bullet point, bullet point, bullet point about their sexual experience, like the experiences, the color, the slants, how where the cum went, like the detailed nature. Not shocking to me at all. Would be very strange for guys to get that much. Like I think the most I've ever talked about is like, "Hey, how you doing?" And I was like, "Good, just had sex." It's like, with who I think it is. Yep.
they're like, nice.
Now,
That was it.
yeah, that was the most in depth. Um, so that didn't shock me, but the whole the convergence of Malala, and before that, their love interests and how all that kind of came together.
I kind of called their love interests. I kind of called Molly's from the jump, and once we found out who Amy this was, I mean, I kind of called that she wasn't gay. Um, even though Amy thought she was, I called that she wasn't. I didn't call that that the two love interests were gonna be together, but I figured, they'd be together with somebody else that we knew. But like,
Uh,
Nick, I think it was Nick, right? The vice president. I figured that would have been like with her with AAA or something, or him with AAA.
I actually didn't call that. Well, I mean, we knew he was the most devious of the sexual people, so to speak. I didn't call that Molly would have a crush on him. Um, he is super
It's
charming.
well, it's the opposites attract kind of thing. It's that kind of trope, where you know um the Booksmart one falls for the skater punk, or falls for like the one who doesn't pay attention ever in class. And you know his thing was more planning parties, hers was more schoolwork. So
But that's another part that I love about this. Like it just with how many stories can you think of where someone's feelings are hurt or they like have they're emotionally tilted in like a devastating way and the other person hasn't done anything mean spirited or technically wrong. Like how many movies can you actually think of that? Because it's so much easier to do the basic kind of stories. This one, I don't see one person who's a villain. The
no,
one
I
the
don't think there really is a villain or a bad person in this movie,
Yeah, it's
outside of the Sacramento rapist or
oh
whatever it
yeah,
was.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
He doesn't
the
count.
guy. Yeah.
But yeah, there's not
Um
really a bad person just to point at in this movie.
yeah,
You're definitely right on that.
it's just
Something I didn't think about.
it's just hormones and and honestly just really kind open-hearted people. Like Nick seems like such a sweetheart. Like yeah, he's used to like I don't know, being a little less friend zoney because he's such a, at least how he's painted, a chick magnet. He
Yeah, and very
tou-
open and inviting.
yeah, touching someone on the cheek as like a thing. I don't think that reads to him as being sexual at all. He's just like, yeah, this is so normal. Like everybody likes when I touch their chin. It's a little fun thing. And he's just naturally flirty without even trying. And hey, maybe he would be open to Molly if Molly had made the first move, you know? I wouldn't,
or showed interest or
or
anything like
like
that. Yeah.
clearly just was like, hey, after we graduate, you want to go out on a date or something? And, uh, but like, yeah, it's so often. I mean, hell, even in if anyone watched the first season of American Idol, this will be a real weird reference to bring up during this movie. After
Wow.
that movie,
That was
there was
first off, that was 21 years ago or 20 years ago because
really
it was 2002.
cool. Then I'm gonna call out my street cred because the first episode I called who the top three people would be. I was like, boom, 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 and I was right. But anyway, after that, they made a movie from Justin to Kelly, and like the drama in that was that Kelly and Justin liked each other, and Justin's ex went and kissed him, and Kelly saw it. She's like, he kissed her behind my back. He blah blah blah, and it was one of those weird, so fake things of like she sees the kiss, and it's just held there for like 10 seconds, and then she goes away and cries, and then we cut back, and he's like, "Oh, why did you kiss me? I didn't want that." So it was like manufactured drama. And the ex of Justin's was clearly a B word. Like that's just her character. It's like, yeah, just be a B word. That's your character.
Yeah, that's your
Cool.
character.
You
That's
know,
your whole thing.
you've got everything, you've got all the information you'll ever need to play this. And it's just like, oh, that's lazy and easy. And yeah, I'll keep saying, this movie never.
It definitely doesn't. It never feels lazy. There
Yeah.
are some things where you can kind of, if you think about it for a second, you're like, okay, I can see where this is gonna go to. Like I said, I called those two. Um, I also, once I started picking up the super bad references, I knew that they were the two main characters were gonna have a falling out of some sorts. So I knew that was gonna
That's
happen.
that single shot. Like, did you pick up on the fact that it was a single shot when that whole fight was
Mm-mm,
happening?
mm-mm.
Oh, when she gets out of uh the pool and all the way to when it mutes out and she says fuck you, and Amy walks away, all a single shot. And it was just so beautifully done. And I think it really worked in the scene's favor of just not cutting away and let the tension stay there. And you
And
just
then
slowly
and
see
then
like
having
lights on cell phones lighting up in the background.
the music get so loud and then cut off, and then to the point where it's audible. So
Yeah. Where you can't hear them talking anymore.
yeah, and it's you hear that like blank noise sound, that like high pitched whistle kind of thing that they do. I don't know. I don't actually think I've never been in a totally silent room, so I can't say that there's no whistling sound when it gets totally quiet like that. But the whistling sound that everybody knows as like there's no noise going on, so now there's like a high pitched humming whistle thing.
Yeah.
So it goes to that.
Uh,
But I mean, they like I said, they do a really good job. Music is one of my things. Music in movies and film, and how you portray your movie based on music is something that I really pick up on. We'll throw another one out there. James Bond does a really good job of carrying their music through their movies. Even back to Doctor No, they carry the music through all the way through the movies. So it's one thing I really like about that franchise, and I think this movie also does a really good job of using their music and volume control to a really high degree that really adds to each moment.
and I'll say it again. If no one's seen eighth grade seems like if this is a 95% for me, eighth grade is like 100% or like 96, 97, 98, 99. Um, and it that
100.
that also uses music just magically. And really gets you in the headspace of that anxiety and stuff like that. Uh, but on the flip side, since we were talking about Nick, Ryan, the skater girl, she's also just so sweet. Like no one at any of those parties, well, except for the murder mystery when he's like, "Why are you here?" No one's like uninviting. None of the people you would expect. Oh, I guess the cliche of the bitchy gay drama geek is a cliche that you would expect. But outside of that, um, all the pretty people are just happy whenever they see someone from their school. There's no real bullies.
No. I mean, they do talk behind each other's back. I mean, that's something that we kind of figured out through the movie. We only
Yeah.
see it really in one scene
Yeah.
where they didn't know she was in the bathroom stall, but they weren't even really talking that bad about her.
Yeah, they
I
were
mean,
just
they're
voicing their
playing what?
frustrations.
Yeah, and they were playing what, like Mary Fuck Kill or something like that too.
Yeah.
And
And not all of them were
I think
opposed.
yeah, no, I think the one skater guy put her in all three categories in some form or fashion.
Yeah, the
But
Tanner, the guy when they show up at the party, he's like, "I'm gonna take care of you. Like, you need something, you come to me." And I was like, I actually trust this guy, who in any other movie would be the frat guy who's like, he looks like he chants no means yes and yes means anal. But it like in that moment,
wow, that ties back to that movie too, or ties back to this movie too.
but in that moment, I was like, shit, yeah. If I was a 17, 18-year-old girl having like getting drunk for the first time, I would actually trust him to not do any shady shit and like protect me for the night. It felt so genuine. Um, okay, so the one scene that Michael Bay would have loved to direct, uh, Amy and Hope kissing for the first time.
Yeah.
What did that? How did that feel to you after like the? It was right after the emotional rocking of their friendship. They, might have.
She basically goes to the bathroom to cry, and Hope
Yeah.
happens to be there. Um,
And
if
this is
it,
the nastiest behavior any character has
yeah,
ever done of like, oh, I just don't like meek people. Um, sorry.
it's probably the quote unquote like the nastiest part of the movie or nastiest scene of the movie, and I'm going to say that like in air quotes because you can't hear that, but like the most like this is as close to super bad as you're going to get.
In
Type
terms
of
of the R rating or in terms of like the
yeah,
mean spirited nature of the conversation?
no, the R rating,
Oh, gotcha.
like the trying to think of the right grotesque. Trying to think of like
Na-
the right word.
nas- Nasty if Michael Bay said it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay. um,
But Hope was a weird character choice for her to be there. Um, I think if I was going to redo that scene, I think AAA would have been an easy person to put there. But Hope just what's the one girl the Gigi, the one where she's like the hippie-ish one.
yeah,
But
she's the character who most likely would stand on the top of a house and go, "I am a golden god," and jump into a pool.
yeah, and she was like passed out on top of the piano on the yacht,
Mhm.
and there everybody's like, "Wait, how'd you get here so fast?"
How are
So
you dry? How are you?
yeah, so I think it would have been her. I think those two would have been the easier fit. Hope threw me off for through that scene. I mean the scene worked well. Everything happened fine. But I mean it was just weird for Hope to be there. She wouldn't have been the person that I would have expected for Amy to kind of break her
Her
virginity
first
esque.
kiss, kind of.
Yeah. Virginity
Yeah,
esque.
yeah. I guess in terms of screen time, she definitely has the lowest out of
Yeah.
anyone. I'm glad it's not Gigi because Gigi would seem like any interest isn't real because she kind of just seems like she's always on shrooms, you know.
Yeah.
More like
Or worse.
all kissing is good kissing, kind of like she'd make out with it, so it
It
wouldn't
would have been
have
an easier
the same
yeah, it would
weight
have been
for
an
me
easier fit.
or the vulnerability. And yeah, I'm sure we could have like built somebody else out or had like AAA be by. Um, AAA would have worked because I like what I like about Hope is that she's while it's a little rough around the edges for me, she challenges her. She's just like if her and Amy become a power couple, I think Hope is not going to be like Molly. Molly kind of takes charge and is cool with people falling in line with her, whereas Hope seems like a partner who'd be like, yeah, if you want to fall in line, that's fine. But why do you want to fall in line? Like, don't just fall in line because I'm telling you to do something. Why? Like, challenges you and demands that you be as assertive as her if you're going to be a couple, kind of thing. And
Okay.
I think AAA could have totally been like that. Could have filled in that role. Um, I wonder how it would have meshed with her being vulnerable later in the car when she picks up Molly. But but you know what? No matter, it didn't feel out of place to me, and I
No,
fucking love when Molly's just like, yeah, yeah, how did that
the angle is just not the right angle.
happen? Oh yeah, or but she's like, yeah, I don't think that's the hole you think it is. It's fine. And she's like very understanding until of course she gets vomited on, and then
Which
I would not,
everybody.
yeah, I wouldn't. Then I don't care if you're
She
Ted
wasn't even
Lasso,
she
yeah, I
wasn't even
wouldn't.
really that mean about it.
Yeah, she was just like, oh, get out, like
Yeah.
give me some,
Yeah.
but
More like give me some space so I can clean off versus,
yeah,
why did you do that, you stupid so and so,
yeah, it's a heat of the moment thing, and she never went for the jugular.
No.
She didn't say something even as nasty as Molly had just said in the previous scene of like insulting her character. She was just, I just got fucking vomited. I'm gonna scream at anyone who's near me right now. Like, I'm
Yeah.
heated. Um, okay, so I'm looking at the cast list. Did you find it funny when dad, Will Forte dad, was like, but we made all these treats for you. Like,
Yeah, and they
I'm
had like
gonna love you forever. Kind of
yeah, and he's like, I even took a long time to name all of them, and he was like,
thing.
I don't remember what any of the names were, but they were all like really cool, like tied in, thoughtful, or like,
Yeah.
man, that is really thoughtful. Like that is clever. And then it was like,
And Mama Lisa Kudrow comes in. It's like, okay, I know that this is hurting you, and I totally get that, but we need to give her space. Like, we need to let her be her own person. And he does the mature thing, which seems so foreign to me for a parent, of putting his daughter's feelings before his own. I'm
yeah,
not saying that I'm insulting my parents, but I am.
and it definitely it could have easily been spoiled there too. He could have definitely said something along the lines of, "But she's going to be gone all next year."
Yeah, like,
Well, but I guess that could have tied in because the big hook is, Amy's going to be gone for a year in Africa. She's going to take a gap year, and Molly doesn't know that. She's expecting her to be in Cambridge, and they were expecting to, meet up or do whatever throughout that. Not Molly to be gone for a complete year in a complete different continent. So that's kind of the twist of everything. So it could have been spoiled easier. It could have been spoiled there.
yeah, that's true. That puts a lot more weight on that scene of him knowing that she'll be gone for so long. All right.
Yeah.
Final thing. What did you think of oh, I just had the question in my mind. Why did I forget it? Oh, the doll scene.
That came out of complete nowhere. Like I was so lost when that happened. I was like, and then she was like, "Yeah, use your hole." Oh, right, and like
Your
slap because she's got like
cornhole.
your cornhole. Yeah, because
And
I
the,
think what she had a piece of corn or she had a corn cob or something like that on it first.
yeah, and
That
and
came out. That scene came out of nowhere, but I mean, it makes sense. I mean, they're high on drugs and the drugs kicked in. So it makes sense that this happened, but it was just like complete left field. I was not expecting that.
And I love the dichotomy of Amy, where she's like, I know this is a really destructive image and it's so
Oh,
unrealistic, but like
yeah.
my perfect curves. Oh my god. Like the dichotomy, by that I mean like wishing you could look that stereotypically good and be admired by everybody, but understanding that's a really destructive ideal to wish for. Like I wish I could look like Channing Tatum, but I'll be happy getting to a healthy dad bod because that's healthiest for me physically and mentally. I mean, getting 8-pack abs is really not healthy for your body
No,
long
it's
term.
not. It's not. And
And
what you got to
plus,
do to what you got to do to keep it is not good either.
no. And plus, if we get into an apocalypse, I'll starve longer with a little pudge.
Yeah.
But that was really funny to me, especially Molly being like, "Oh my god, I've never done splits like this before."
Yeah, and she just like takes her leg and like up by her ear. And then she's got like on one cowboy boot on one leg and barefoot on the other one.
uh, but yeah. Uh, anyway, anything else you'd like to say about this movie?
I would say overall it's a good movie. It's solid. It fires on the right cylinders. It really hits the right spots. Um, yeah, I wish it did better in theaters. I think it'll be better once whoever has the streaming rights to it, Netflix, Amazon, whatever. And if they push this movie, I think it could be better later in its life cycle versus early.
Yeah.
As long as somebody like Netflix pushes it. I don't know if it is on Netflix or not, but I hope that some streaming platform picks it up and pushes it.
If not, I should have mentioned this earlier. There's an affiliate link down below. I think it's worth buying. But I was going to say, I looked up eighth grade's box office because Bo Burnham, I would just expect Bo Burnham's like army of tweens would have flocked to the movie. It got so much positive praise in award seasons and things like that. This did too, but Bo Burnham's eighth grade even more so. And eighth grade made 14.3 million. Mid 90s, which was by Jonah Hill, like written and directed, made 9.3 million. Edge of 17 with Haley Steinfeld, who's just finished her run in Hawkeye season 1, 19.4 million. The box office is shocking. Like I'm really looking forward to Florence Pugh in Olivia Wilde's sequel with Harry Styles, uh, purely based on the quality of this one. But let me see. Booksmart budget 6 million.
Six.
Six
Yep.
million. Okay. All right. Well, it's
Six.
doing its ratio
Six.
is better than the Kingsman.
Yeah. 6 million made 25 million.
Yeah. All right.
But
Well, at
I
least
mean,
it made its budget back.
yeah, and I think, like I said, I think this movie will do better in the future than it did right away.
Yeah. At the very least, it has got its budget back. And yeah.
It,
I
it
was
won. I mean, it won quite a few awards. A lot of kind of random stuff, nothing crazy. But it won a lot of awards.
nice. And their
Um,
careers are keeping going. I've been seeing them
y-
around a little bit.
yeah. Well, and you got Olivia Wilde too. So I mean,
Unfortunately, Caitlin Dever was in what's it called? Well, she's been in a lot of stuff, but Dear Evan Hansen got dragged. The musical adaptation. She
oh,
was in
okay.
that. I've heard nothing but bad things about that. To talk about the Kingsman, I was actually shocked because it finally updated with the worldwide box office and it's made over $47 million.
It's not bad.
And the
I mean,
Google
it's not good.
it's not
It's not good.
good. $100 million budget. However, I looked up Google Trends again, and it's literally on like an uptick right now. So it seems
Well,
like
I
word
mean,
of mouth has stubbornly made people start looking for the Kingsman prequel.
well, now that everybody kind of went back to the theaters for Spider-Man, they're like, okay, what's the next movie. So I think the longer that stays in the theaters, the better it'll do. They're also still running ads during football games and stuff like that.
The Kingsman is
The King's Man, yes.
is
I was
running
watching,
ads in football.
yeah, I was watching one of the football games, and they were like, "This is presented to you by The King's Man, now in theaters now." Yep.
I'm shocked. Okay, I made an Instagram reel the day before this was recorded, and I literally took a clip from Kick-Ass, another movie directed by Matthew
Mhm.
Vaughn, and it was when he got stabbed. And I was like, why the Kingsman bombed? It got over like 3,000 views in like 4 hours. So I was like, what? But stabbed,
What?
8 release dates, and then he stumbles into the street, gets hit by a car, and I wrote putting it up against Spider-Man No Way Home. And then when the car drives off, I put marketing budget. Yeah, right, lol.
I mean,
And
I bet you the marketing budget's probably bigger than you think,
I'm shocked. I mean,
because it's playing during NFL games and it's playing before movies in theaters.
like I've been seeing it playing for me, but I Google Kingsman like every day. So I'm like, this is targeted advertising. I'm not gonna be in my bubble assuming everyone's seeing this ad. But
I mean, I
I'm
see it a lot on YouTube,
shocked.
but yes, NFL. Yep.
Okay. I mean, when that released and Nightmare Alley and another movie, all owned by Disney, released against Spider-Man, they were like, oh, thanks, Disney.
Yeah.
You intentionally killed these movies. What the fuck? So I mean, I know football games aren't, you're not spending Super Bowl advertising dollars, but that's more than I ever would have expected, honestly.
Yeah, but Super Bowl budgets are one spot, one time
Yeah.
for those ads. You're paying millions of dollars. So
And plus
I bet you they're
they
still paying millions of dollars because they're airing this commercial or airing this like sponsored by ad through several games.
yeah, the one thing I know about Super Bowl ads are they also require it's like $5 million for a 30-second ad, but they require a year-long budget of $50 million throughout the entire year just to be able to qualify to get that Super Bowl ad. I know that from Gary Vaynerchuk.
Nice.
Um,
Who's going to own
but
the Jets one day?
yeah. Hey, his book 12 and a half is great. I just found out that he recorded an audiobook of a jab 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 right hook, which he said he would never do because it was a visual book. And I was like, "Oh, yay." Um but but I don't know, maybe they were just spending extra budget that they needed for the year, but I'm shocked. I'm honestly shocked. I almost commented on a Kingsman Instagram ad or Instagram post that had 1,000 less than 1,000 likes. I was like, guys, I'm so sorry that you got stuck with like no budget. You guys are doing a great job on Instagram, tiny little team or whatever.
Yeah, I
But I
wish that
guess
was
I'm wrong.
public information.
What's up? How much the
The
advertising
Yeah,
budget is?
yeah.
Like I said, I'll do it again right now. I'm sorry that it's in Booksmart, but trends.google.com and then the Kingsman like it's nothing. Like it's almost flatlined. But out of the United States, oh damn, over the last week or two, it's well, relatively speaking, skyrocketed worldwide. Yeah, it's on an upward trend. This is so weird because you can look back years and see how the trend is, around the time that the other two movies came, and clearly the trend starts going up before the movies come out. But I mean, it's small, but it really is gaining some traction. Ironically, the top 5 places for interest for Kingsman are Uzbekistan, Panama, Costa Rica, Guatemala, and Paraguay.
Nice.
And
All my
I
favorite places.
and I'm the box office. I remember seeing the other day it showed all territories. It was showing different markets and how much they made. For instance, in the US it's made almost $6 million. In Japan it's made over 2 million. In South Korea, what up, K-pop? It's made over 2.5 million. So like Japan and South Korea are pulling near
Pulling some big
US
numbers.
numbers.
Yeah, pulling
Yeah.
some numbers in.
Oh wait, that was all for like the last week because US gross total was 15 million. And those other two, Japan and South Korea, are totaling 5.5 million. But like South Africa gave it 30,000. Not a lot. The UK gave
Hey,
it almost $600,000. So maybe feeling that No Time to Die withdrawal symptoms, like I'm
yeah,
about to feel Kingsman withdrawal symptoms in a month or two.
yeah. For the next 10 years till they release the next one.
Dude, if Kingsman 3 actually films, I'm gonna be so excited. I literally got a stationery set, an orange stationery set, nice pens, and I have a Kingsman stamp coming. I think I mentioned this just to send a letter and be like, keep going, boys. You got this. Maybe I'll say
Yeah, because
keep going, gals.
because they only respond to written inquiries.
Yeah. Anywho,
Something
yeah,
that's not gonna
Booksmart.
something that's not gonna get a sequel. Booksmart.
Hey, I don't think it was ever built to have
No,
one, and I'm happy for
no.
that. I will always love my spiritual sequels like this to eighth grade or Lady Bird with its spiritual sequel of Beautiful Boy and Boy Erased because it has the same actors playing very similar roles. So I'm down, and we're about to see Olivia Wilde's next film with Harry Styles going down on Florence Pugh. So
Nice.
that'll be interesting.
Yeah,
If
definitely will
nothing
be.
if nothing else.
Was that Cowboys and Indians or Cowboys and Aliens or
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I've only seen Harry Styles in one thing ever, and it was Dunkirk.
oh, okay. That's a movie that's on my list of the ones that I have to watch. I haven't watched yet.
It's fine. It's a
And the Revenant I haven't seen. Leo.
Oh yeah, yeah. That has Tom Hardy in it. I still
Oh,
need to see Revenant as well, and then I will be seeing him in Eternals when it's on Disney Plus.
should be soonish because I think the Blu-ray comes out in February. Question mark.
February 12th on Disney Plus. The Eternals Blu-ray is already out.
Is it really?
Yeah, I know because I went on Best Buy, your favorite website, and looked for
It's not my favorite website. It just happens to be the one that gets
steel books.
exclusive steelbooks.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, if I had my way, I would Best Buy it somewhere else, but they get all the exclusive steelbooks. So here I am.
Yeah, so
Here I again,
oh
again
wait,
on
no,
my own.
it does say get it on release day. Huh. It's released.
Uh, the 15th, day after Valentine's Day.
That's so weird. Let me fact check myself. When does Eternals come on Disney Plus? Okay. That's so weird. It actually comes out on January 12th, and the
But
Steelbook comes out.
on February 15th.
That is so antithetical to. Well, no, that makes sense. That still makes
Yeah,
sense.
because they want you to buy their service because they'd rather you spend,
Get
what's Disney Plus for the next year versus
get hooked on a
one,
recurring. Yeah.
yeah, one Blu-ray.
The reason I think it's especially weird is because all the special features for all their movies are actually on Disney Plus. So it's kind of going to tank their Steelbook or their at
Uh,
least their Blu-ray sales. I
yeah,
would
I
expect them
mean,
to have the movie on Disney Plus and then have the special features on a Blu-ray to try to make you do both. But
yeah. I mean, the biggest thing that I like, I mean, that I like
well, we don't
physical,
need to go into that.
yeah, sorry.
Second,
Ooh, ooh. Um,
speaking of Channing Tatum.
yeah, he's up there. No, just I like the physical media. One, if it gets removed or for whatever reason I can't afford Disney Plus, I still have it.
Mhm.
Two, um, the quality is a little bit better. I don't have to rely on my internet to stream movies, which allows me higher access to, higher frame rates, higher quality, and better audio quality. So I prefer buying it, but it's got to be a movie that I want to see or that I know I'll watch again because otherwise it's not worth buying.
Yeah, I get that.
So
I had a thing of buying digital for a long time on like iTunes and stuff, and now I've scaled back because I'm like, there's so much on streaming I need to anyway, so I'm not gonna.
it seems like streaming keeps coming out with all these great movies, like the other movie we just watched.
Harder They Fall or something else.
Oh, Don't Look Up.
Oh yeah, yeah, that was a good one. Um, I Care a Lot on Netflix. We'll have that. That'll be one of my 10 with Charlie Bartlett. I'm also gonna throw in Shave My Head into that Marbles on stream. So feel
I gotta
free to
find
hear that.
I gotta find 10 movies. This is gonna be more difficult than I think.
Ones that you've seen so that you can
Yeah.
try to review them really quickly.
Yeah.
But hey,
I mean, it'll be tough. It'll be fun, but it'll be tough.
I literally have a list of over like 150 movies.
I know you do, because when we came up with this movie, this was technically my choice. I asked you for options, and you're like, "Well, this movie, da, 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 da." And then you said that this Booksmart won the movies are dope, bromance or
Bromance Award. Yeah,
bromance.
for the
Yep.
Dope Movies Award, which I gotta do before the end of the month for this year.
And this is a movie that my wife had actually seen before this. So,
Yay!
and she sat down and watched it with me.
I honestly think I'm gonna do my own private marbles on stream to find out the other 8 ones because me getting it down to 10 is gonna be an impossibility. So I'll try to get it down to 50. And I'll be like, okay, I Care a Lot is in there. Charlie Bartlett's in there because I've been teasing it so much. I kind of want to not have it in there just to tease it more. And then I'll let Marbles on stream decide what the other 8 are.
By having a marbles race.
Yeah, literally. I'm just gonna do that privately and just be like, let the gods decide. But
So speaking of marble races,
mhm.
there's a channel on YouTube that does like official marble races with like actual real marbles, and they actually hold like Olympics and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Olympic events, and like based on like the color of the marble is what team they're on. So it might be like the cat's eye team, or the orange marble team, or whatever. But they actually do like real events and like Olympic style.
Ooh.
Yeah.
All right.
So if you're
Well,
ever bored or find the deep reaches of YouTube.
all right. Well, look out for that bonus episode. It'll be a quick one just to be a little exciting. Get some quick, no spoiler reviews, something you could watch before our actual review came out, if that's of any interest to you. And anything else for Booksmart?
Nope. I think we're good.
Cool. So this movie may have been Mushroom,
An edible.
but either way, this movie was
Dope.
dope. Because movies are dope. And gals, we'll see you for the next one.